Hi, welcome to Neighborhood News. I'm John Sylvia, here with Carlos Caesar. So how's it going, Carlos?
Good, John. And another week went by,
Yep.
and we're back again.
Yep.
With one more guest. But before we go to our guest, we have some announcements to do. So we want to welcome everybody back again to Neighborhood News. And for my friends in Portuguese, sejam bem-vindos a mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança, todas as terças-feiras, não se esqueça, no canal 95, aqui mesmo da escola do BCC. Nós estaremos aqui por meia hora a levar notícias da sua vizinhança. So now we have some announcements to do.
Yeah, we have a couple announcements. Number one, June 19th from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. At Government Center, the hearing room, there is going to be a public meeting on the Quequechan Rail Trail. And this is something that is going to connect to the current bike path that's on Brayton Avenue behind the Meditech building. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a real important thing to get out there just to hear what's going on. I think things like this are a great economic tool. When I travel for work to Washington, there are a lot of bike paths, and that's what brings middle-class families back in here, these kind of amenities, I guess, if you want to call it. So.
Yes, and we're going to invite the person in front of this project in Fall River.
Julie Kelly, right?
Julie Kelly. Yeah. She will be, and probably in the next couple of weeks, she will be here as a guest. Right after this event, we want to find out more about the event and how the event went. But we want to invite everybody to participate. It's very important. The community to participate on this meeting.
Yeah, and you know, this is a thing, getting back to that whole area. This is part of your neighborhood, actually,
exactly,
where they just built that new curtains loft, over 55 housing. They have a couple of new businesses there, like that dollar store, the gym. I can't think of the name of the gym that's there. So this will be behind there, right on the water. So I think it's a definite good thing to look at. I'm excited actually that it's actually coming to fruition.
And this is going to go by the Father Travassos.
Yep, behind there.
Right.
Correct.
Behind Father Travassos. So it's going to connect us from Westport right to the rest of the areas of Fall River by this bike path.
Yeah.
It's a very good project. Please, if you free on that day, attend to this meeting. It's very important, and it's on the 19th, June 19, at the first floor at City Hall. Yep,
exactly. So very important. The next thing, we have a few neighborhood cleanups, and actually the dumpster service, I guess, is pretty popular.
Yes.
On Saturday, May 19th. And actually, I'm sorry, that's already, we're already past that. Sorry about that. It's Saturday, June 2nd. There's going to be a dumpster at Rock Street, Meridian Street, and also Columbia Street. And then Saturday, June 9th, there'll be a dumpster at Bank Street across from the Tot Lot, and Maplewood Park on Stafford Road, and the last one is on Griffin Park. I can tell you for our neighborhood in Niagara that it's pretty popular. I think by 10 o'clock the dumpster was filled up. I'm hoping this time the city, and I'm going to actually send an email to someone, to Perry Long, because the one at Pulaski Park was filled up within an hour or two, and I think that some people were just throwing all that, like construction stuff in there, and folks didn't get the opportunity.
My dumpster at the Cash Street parking lot got full fast too, because usually what I do, and again, I've been doing this for the past 5 or 6 years. And I send a letter to my members, and I send a letter to the to people on the Flint to let them know if they have something they want to trash on their yards. It's time to clean up the yards. So they use the dumpster to dump that stuff. Yeah. So that's why our dumpster gets filled up fast. But it is a very good a very good idea for the neighborhood, to help the neighborhood to clean up.
Yeah.
And again, John, did you mentioned the areas that the dump is going to be, but again, it's open to the whole
It's
the whole
everybody.
city.
Yeah, it's
I
everybody.
mean, doesn't matter where is the dumpster it's located. The important is that the dumpster is somewhere on the city, so people can come and dump some stuff and clean up their yards and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping, like I said, I think what happened, at least in our neighborhood, was the dumpsters were smaller this time. I was working that day, so I didn't have the opportunity to see it, but other folks in the neighborhood said the dumpsters were smaller and they didn't have somebody there watching.
So-
Normally they have somebody from the dumpster company that volunteers this, so you don't have somebody
So in
just
that
bringing...
case, it's good to have a dirty neighborhood, because they always send me the biggest one they have, and the biggest one they have, we fill them up
All right.
in 2
Well,
hours.
that's-
So
no, you're right. So I guess, you put it and it comes, that old saying, build and it comes. Well, you put the dumpster and and they're going to start using it. Also, with some of these dumpsters, they're coinciding with some neighborhood cleanup. So just keep a lookout. Corky Row, Maplewood, and Bank Street, they might be having their cleanups on those dates on June 9th, where those dumpsters are. And we have one other announcement.
we have
And-
2 more.
Two more, I'm sorry, 2 more. Well, this one is actually related to this bike path. There is going to be a workshop, and that is on June 6th, next Wednesday. And that's an all-day event. I know a lot of people have to work. That day I'm taking that day off because this thing's a little important to me, and I have some extra time I can take off, but it's from 8 to 5. And that is also at City Hall. So if you have time, check it out. You can give some input as to what's going on here. And what was the
And
other?
another
you had-
one, it's right on the Flint. We have the car wash
Okay.
between 9 in the morning and 12. People can stop by at the Advance Auto Parts right on the Flint Plaza on Pleasant Street, and they can get the car wash, and donate some money for the neighborhoods, for the projects that we put together. And I mean, every dollar helps.
Yeah,
Every dollar helps.
Well, that kind of ties in. If you want to spend maybe, we have a guest here, but we'll get to him in a second. But maybe it ties into, if you want to just talk maybe 30 seconds about your announcement that you had at the Fonseca School, because that's what you guys are using this fundraiser money for, regarding
Yes.
your trip. If you want to
Yes,
let
I
folks
mean,
know.
we pretty much what we do, we budget the money that we raise, we budget. So we know how much we're getting from the dues, how much we're getting from fundraisers, and we give back to the community. We do all the way from the Flint Pride Days that we give free hot dogs for the kids on the park and all of that, until the carols in Christmas time on Pleasant Street. We buy the hot chocolate and all that for the kids. So we whatever dollars we get from the community, we put it right back to the community. It's just to get together, to get the community together. But to very brief to go over the walk on the trustees of reservation. Today was the first trip. I was not on the city. I was working out of the city, but I got a call really in the morning. Everybody was excited to go. And so they say, oh, I got to go. The trolley's getting in here. So I knew the trolley was there. So everybody was happy. But we're going to take 15 classes, grades 3, 4, and 5, to this walk at the trustees of reservation. Good. And again, the city behind the project is donating us the trolleys, and we put the two things together: nice ride on a trolley and a nice walk on the reservation of trustees. And so it's going to be 2 trips a day now for the whole week. So we can bring almost 400 kids.
Very good.
It's almost 400 kids.
Very good.
So it's another project. We adopted the school, and we giving back to the kids some. And that's what the neighborhood is about.
Yep, exactly.
That's what the neighborhood is
Exactly.
about.
Very good.
Very good. And
So, and I'll talk real quick, and then we hate to hold up Sergeant Smith here. He's our guest tonight, but real quick on Memorial Day, the Fall River Tree Planting program, along with the City of Fall River, planted 10 trees, and there was a monument that was put together for the troops from basically Operation Iraqi Freedom and for Afghanistan. And I was there, very nice presentation. They did a great job. And these trees, this grove in North Park, if you get a chance, go check it out. It was in the paper. They have the monument there and all the trees. And as time goes by, it's going to look even nicer when these trees get older. But it's just something, again, another nonprofit along with the city working together to make things a little bit different, a little bit better in Fall River, and also to recognize the sacrifices of people that are helping to keep us free here.
We will have a monument at Father Travassos too, now with the new project that we're putting together for Father Travassos. We're having a place to put a monument there too at Father Travassos. So,
Okay, excellent.
that's a lot of news from neighborhoods.
That's it. And see,
Wow, we go all over.
Yeah, and Sergeant Smith is our guest today, and he's going to be happy because now he only has to talk for a few minutes now. So that's what we were trying to do to help him out.
Please take more time.
But welcome, Sergeant Smith.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome. And to talk about neighborhoods.
Yep.
And all the neighborhood groups, everybody knows Sergeant Smith.
Yep, absolutely.
He's very familiar to the people in charge of the neighborhoods.
Yep.
He's very familiar, and people that participate on the meetings, on neighborhood meetings, it's very familiar with his face.
Yep, exactly.
But now the whole city is going to find out about Sergeant Smith and who's Sergeant Smith. So let's start from the beginning. Sergeant Smith was born in Fall River.
I was born and raised in Fall River. I lived in Boston for a few years when my mother remarried, but Fall River is home. I recently moved out of the city approximately 5 years ago, but Fall River is home, born and raised here most of my life.
And did you attend the public schools?
Yes,
Fall
I
River Public?
graduated from Lincoln Elementary School, Cuss Middle School, and Durfee High School. Then I ended up traveling. After I graduated from Durfee, I traveled in the Marine Corps and traveled around Africa and Asia in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
So that's because I know, and I contact a lot of kids, and especially in Fonseca, and you would be amazing how many want to be police officers.
Oh, very good. It's an honorable profession to have them come meet us.
Exactly. So that's why I tell them, if you study, you can be anything you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
and that's a
absolutely.
perfect example that is success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Sergeant Smith, I got to just ask you if you could give our viewers a rundown of what the community police unit does. We know here in the neighborhoods, and before I have you answer that question, I could say every time we do talk to anybody, you mention your name, always good things. So that's a testament of the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. But sorry to throw you off there, but if you could just give us, because some folks don't know what community policing is, if you could just give us a quick rundown of what that is.
Community policing, which obviously Lieutenant Bernier is my boss, he subscribes to that philosophy, as well as Chief Racine. He also subscribes to that philosophy, and it's just to break down the barriers that they found out the rapid response calls and some of the studies from the 70s and 80s. It was taking the policemen away from the community, and it was, you didn't know the old school walking beats that you knew in your neighborhoods. They walked the beat. You'd invite them in for a supper or a glass of soda. So Chief Racine's philosophy is get the walking beats back in the communities. The uniform division is the backbone of the department, and they go call to call, and it's rapid response all night. So a lot of times they don't have a chance to work on things. So the community policing unit and the walking beats specifically are there to kind of build those bridges with the communities that we lost when we started putting the policemen in the cruisers. So it's been very successful.
Okay. And we have those walk beats right now, right?
That's correct. There's approximately 7 walking beats in the city as of right now. And the chief, I believe, and the mayor have allocated some funds to put additional walking beats out there, and you've seen them out there as well.
Yeah, can you tell us where they are? They're Corky Row, right? Corky Row, Kennedy Park?
I believe they use them strategically
Oh, okay, so, all right.
to address problems in the neighborhood, such as another good idea. I got to plug the chief was post-crime impact team. So when you had the shooting, for example, on Barlow Street in Carlos's neighborhood, they shifted a couple walking beats up there to address the problem, and it's twofold. It allays the fear of crime with the people in that community, in that section of the city, and it also it helps the major crimes division detectives that follow up on these shootings and violent crimes. It helps them out that some neighbor may approach the walking beat and say, hey, I have information, I saw the gentleman, or I saw a car, and it helps out. So it's a give and take. Usually people come up to us. It's
And
been very well.
I see them a few times a week on Pleasant Street.
Yes.
I see them a lot there. But you go and you reach out to the neighborhood groups.
Yes.
Do you go to all the neighborhood groups meetings, or you have different people schedule?
Usually the walking beats, there's approximately 18 to 19 neighborhood groups throughout the city. And we also, the community policing unit works, coincides or has a partnership with the state police task force, with parole, with probation. So Lieutenant Bernia covers approximately half the meetings. I cover approximately half the meetings, and the 7 walking beats cover the meetings that coincide with their respective neighborhood groups. So tonight, Officer Saraiva would be at your meeting. He's the walking beat in the Flint.
Oh, okay. Because I see you all over. I go to St. Anne's, you're there. I go to Niagara, you're there. So I see a lot of neighborhood groups. So that's why I was wondering if you have more people, you know, to go to the neighborhood meetings.
I actually had gone to St. Anne's because Officer Sylvia had received an award by Pam LeBeau. It was really nice, and John Sylvia had given us an award. So it was nice that sometimes some people like the police, some people don't like the police, so it's nice for that recognition. So I was there, but Lieutenant Bernier actually would cover St. Anne's neighborhood. I cover yours and yours, and Lieutenant Bernier covers a large portion of them as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw you on South End. That's what I was.
Oh, I do have that one,
South
yes.
End.
Lieutenant Bernier has St. Anne's, I do have the
I thought you
South
did
End.
all of them. That's why, you know.
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I asked, because I see them everywhere.
No, Lieutenant Bernier does half, and I do half.
Well, I can say, as far as the community policing, before I started going to these neighborhood meetings and meeting police officers, and I have a relative that is a police officer, you have a different impression when you go to the meetings. You know, you meet you guys one-on-one, know you're regular folks like everybody else, and you're going to have good days, bad days. So I think it's a good thing. It really is a good thing. And unfortunately, a lot of times you only interact with police on when it's something bad. And I had something a couple of years back. I was out in California, going from Lake Tahoe into San Francisco on a day trip on vacation. And I think I was going a little too quick. That's what they told me, and I got $300 tickets. So if you had things like that happen, it's not a positive thing.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think that is a good thing. People know that you guys are regular people, you know, and you're trying to help us all. So I think that's a positive thing, definitely.
And get the neighborhood group closer to the police too, because a lot of people that have questions and they don't want to call 911 with this question, so they save the question to bring to the neighborhood meeting, because they know that we will have somebody there from the police to make the question. And I know you are very nice sometimes, too nice sometimes. Nice enough to leave to ask 5 minutes to go in the hall, make a phone call, and come back with the answer. That's going, you know, the extra mile, because you could take notes and, you know, and try to resolve the problem, but you resolve the problem right there. So. That's,
I think you got to have a lot of patience in that
Yes.
job. I mean, Sergeant, I don't know if you've been on the ride along, but he had set that up. I had one on, and I'll tell you, the 3 hours that was on that, you have to have a lot of patience, I think, with things. And I think when you're walking in someone else's shoes and just saying, I mean, everybody has things in their job, but there aren't too many times I went on the call and the officer's knocking on the door and they're swearing at the officer, saying, "I'm going to call the police," and it's like, they are the police. They're here. So it was frustrating. So I think if you know that kind of thing, and I think that sometimes you guys are always dealing with the negative, and I think people, if they understand this sort of thing, I think they'd be more understanding, definitely.
To me, it's just like a teacher. You're a good teacher if you have passion.
Yeah.
Yes.
For kids.
Yeah.
If you love what you do.
Yeah.
You don't complain about because you do what you like to do.
Yeah.
And I think with the police is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's one of the jobs they very selected, because if you're a police officer, it's because you like what you do.
Sure, yeah.
That's why, because it's a lot of hours that you're going to spend,
Yeah.
So and about neighborhoods, what do you think that the problems that can get resolved faster than others? Are problems that can resolve?
I think every neighborhood group has their own specific pros and cons. Every neighborhood group would have different problems. The reservation in the Copacabana area has a problem with dumping, illegal dumping. Your neighborhood does have a gang element to it that we're working on. John's neighborhood has shoplifting at some of the stores. So each one's different. If I can give the neighborhood groups a plug as well, it's nice for us to break down barriers, because as a rookie, I had worked some of the tougher areas in the South End, and some people, there were a few people that didn't like the police. We were arresting them all the time for different things. So I shifted to another neighborhood group, and the person had asked me, "Please sit down. Let me buy your. Let me get you a soda." And I'm thinking, "Oh, they must be trying to poison me," but they were being genuine and sincere. They really appreciated the police being there. So it breaks down the barriers for us as well, and we appreciate it. I mean, it's a good partnership. It's a teamwork. It makes us tighter with you, and you tighter with us. We get to understand everyone a little better. You understand us better. It's really great.
One of the, and I'm going to let you ask, but talking about that, one of the issues that probably all the neighborhoods have in common is the motorcycles. Now on
How
the
did
summer.
you know that? He already heard that. I got to send you a video, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
On the motorcycles, how is the police deals with the problem?
What happened is when I had got promoted to sergeant, Lieutenant Bernier and Chief Racine came up with a philosophy which has been working out well. No matter what meeting the officer goes to or the supervisor goes to, whatever the specific issue is, such as loud motorcycle exhaust, we type a field interview report, an officer's report, and that gets sent out department-wide via our internal system. So it'll go from the chief of police down to the civilian dispatcher, the newest dispatcher. So everyone in the police department's aware of the issues, then you can target it and be more proactive accordingly. So as a matter of fact, it was at John's last meeting that we addressed it again and stated it's an ongoing problem. So that loud muffler is enforced under Chapter 90, which is motor vehicle infractions in the state of Mass, and it's a $50 fine for loud exhaust or altered exhaust. So you'll have more tickets probably being generated for the people with the loud exhaust. And we also notified a motor vehicle unit regarding the drag racing, specifically on Brayton Avenue as well.
Sometimes on my neighborhood, what I see, it's motorcycles on the sidewalks. That tells me that the motorcycle is not even registered. Right?
You mean driving on those sidewalks?
Yes.
You're driving up, that would be a problem. Give us a call.
That's right, like a red light, bing, 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 stop me.
Probably dirt bikes. Probably dirt bikes then. Probably dirt bikes, right?
No, and sometimes I see those big bikes, the big wheels.
ATVs. Probably the
They're
three-wheelers.
really huge bikes. They're skinny, but they're big.
Okay.
But when I see them on the sidewalk, that tells me, you don't even have registered for sure, or else it will be on the street. But even on register, I think I want to be on the street than on the sidewalk.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
That is true.
Absolutely. But if you could tell us one of your successes that since you've been doing this.
I
think of one
think
story.
there's successes every day that a lot of the public doesn't see. I mean, it could be something as big as the neighborhood groups have helped us on a top 10 most wanted guy, or you've helped us in a shooting or a stabbing or an armed robbery. or even just a small crime, a quality of life issue, such as it's a big issue that people are having their dogs, they're defecating in the parks and not cleaning up. So to someone, that's an issue that we're able to address and help the people out. So I think there's successes every day, whether big or small, just a lot of stuff you don't see or hear about, but there are successes. I know in Earl Gaudette's neighborhood, and I was remiss, the environmental police have actively tagged and charged criminal, a civil citation for $300 for illegal dumping. But because it wasn't an arrest, they've done over a half dozen of them around Cook Pond. But we never discussed it because it wasn't a physical arrest. So it's going on behind the scenes every day. A lot of successes.
And you're going to remember this one. In one of our meetings, somebody complained about this person live on this street, that every time that a police car drives by, he runs inside.
We
He
lock
hides
them
himself.
up with the warrants.
That you remember that issue.
I do.
And 2 days after, front page of the Herald News was 2 arrests, not 1, but 2 arrests on that address.
Wow.
Yes,
So-
we made an arrest warrant there. I believe the vice unit executed the search warrant there for drugs. As a matter of fact, we were just following up with that case specifically. I don't believe the gentleman's an American citizen, so we're going to try to deport him as well. So, so we're still working on it. It probably doesn't hit the forefront or hit the newspaper. Sometimes we're moving on to other things, but we are working. I'm still working on that sewer pipe at your park right now. But so there's successes
That
every
sewer
day.
it
pipe
is,
is a
yes.
police matter or what? What are you getting the police involved in a sewer
But
matter?
he's so nice. He's so nice that he wants to resolve that one too.
I'm just a messenger. I just pass it along.
Sergeant, well, I think we have a couple minutes to wrap up. So I definitely want to thank you for everything you do for the, not just for my neighborhoods, but for all the neighborhoods in the city. We depend on you, and we depend on the police department to resolve and to work
absolutely.
closer and to resolve a lot of our problems.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss to steal your line here. I mean, people probably do realize, but they were supposed to have 260 police officers, and you're at like, what, 210 or 206 or something like that?
I believe maybe 212 in that vicinity. So.
And I just look at it in this instance, I mean, in our jobs, if you're short, that many people, you're already in a crisis mode kind of a point that, you're constantly being pulled all over. And I think these guys really deserve a pat on the back because they do a good job even under these, resource
definitely,
limitations here,
definitely,
to use
definitely.
different words. So thank you.
Thank you,
No,
Sergeant Smith.
thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Okay.
And we're going to wrap up,
I think that's it.
and we'll be here next week with more neighborhood news. And just a final notice.
Yeah, again, the June 19th, I think this is real important to get out there, just hear what's going on from 6 to 8 in City Hall. I don't know if you want to say that real quick in Portuguese.
Sure, vai haver uma reunião no City Hall de Fall River das 6 às 8 e é muito importante esta reunião no dia 19 e é para os caminhos para as bicicletas. É uma reunião importante e se tem oportunidade, por favor, visite, participe nessa reunião.
Great.
And that's it.
That's it. Till next week, and this was number 7, right? We're up to
This
number
is,
7.
I think I lost the count, but I think it's
All right,
number
number
7.
seven. Okay.
Number
All
7,
right, sounds
we're
good.
already preparing the celebration, the tent show celebration. So, and we bring those surprises we're working on. So, see you guys next week. Thank you again for watching us. And Tuesday, we'll be back.